most beautiful stars. Oh, my camera was kind of not giving me the time. That's okay. We're going to be talking about that today. Time. So normally, you beautiful stars, you beautiful, beautiful stars, Friday at 11 a.m. is normally... Oh, I gotta take a drink of water. I apologize. Put a cough drop in my mouth because I was on the phone with someone leading into going live here. I've been talking too much, so my throat's been a little bit rough again. So I apologize. If you're new here, hey, how's it hanging? I'm Courtney, host of Stars of the Morning Light. And I kind of do just a little bit of babble, waiting to see if anybody's going to pop in. Normally on Fridays, it is a Toth Revealed. We go through Emerald Tablet stuff. The next few weeks, it's going to be more Hermes. We're going to dive back into that. I might go just very general with that right now. And then after I get past my lovely April event, everybody, you can come, yay, to the New Earth Energy Market at the end of April. Then we're going to get into some heavy stuff for the spring and summer. Of just Emerald Tablets, period. Just Hermes, Toth, bringing a little bit of the Gnostics, a little bit of the scene, a little bit of just maybe some Japanese wonderful ancient stories, maybe just all sorts of stuff, right? We'll be bringing in a bunch of different things. I love it. The cult, period. Thank you for all that are supporting the Edgar Cayce study. I do believe that's going to go very well over time. And I'll talk about others as we go along. So today, normally, like I said, it is mostly usually Emerald Tablet stuff, but this weekend I'm teaching a 2-day workshop, so I will not be here Sunday. Normally this message is on Sunday, but this message needed to be out there, so I decided to bring it into today. I had asked, I was in the Akashic, or I was communicating with the Akashic, which I'm going to end on that note as well at the end of this message. I was communicating with them the other day, and they said, Courtney, you got to go back to rebirth. So a lot of these weekly messages is very much just an overcap of how to handle 2023. I mean, 2024 is going to be wild, but 2023 is, you know, the prelude to it. It's all the pre-stuff. Good morning, Shelly Seeker. Good to see you. So a lot of these weekly messages is for all of 2023 and for all of the humans. All of the humans. I am learning all these different new terms and how terms are changing up. I want everyone to know now that Stars of the Morning Light, I've said it before, is all-inclusive, all-welcoming, everybody, race, color, creed, religion, all of it, right? Sex, I don't, you know, all humans are welcome here. And I do look at the chat and I look at the comments, and if there's disrespect to any of other humans, groups of humans, or even just an individual, I shut it down. I shut it down. It's who I am. So this is a very inclusive space, not a everyone can be here. You know, and that's the point of the events that I put on. I'll hold up the sign again. The Holistic Festival, New Earth Energy Market. If you're in town, if you're around the Chattanooga, Tennessee area of the United States, April 29th, Patriots Hall, Ringgold, Georgia. One of the reasons for putting on those events, it is literally that name, new earth energy. Market. And market, it ends up meaning a lot of different things, right? It is where you can find out about alternative holistic healing. You can listen to music from different times and cultures and whatnot, right? There's belly dancers. There's a whole mix of stuff that happens. And I also want to say there's a whole mix of different ethnicities that are present. There's a whole lot of mix from different practitioners and what they do, to different music, to different ethnicities, different thoughts, different beliefs, different this, different that. It's so wonderful. It is actually wonderful. And oftentimes people, they even group holistic people into one category, which is mind-boggling to me. So what I know is that in the new earth, the energy of the new earth is that we stop seeing the differences and start seeing the similarities in the differences. It's wonderful. So we do need to talk about that. So I titled this Rebirth because they were like, you need to talk about the whole rebirth situation again. I want to pose questions today as to if you could just imagine that any possibilities, infinite potentialities, infinite possibilities for your life and what you would like to see in the world. You personally, the I, the we, your unit, your tribe, your family, have you, and the all, the community, the nation, your country, the world. I'm really trying to have people in 2023 focus on just the I, the we, and then hopefully community, because it's hard for people to see the all when they don't even see just those around them. But I am finding out the word community doesn't mean what it always did. Okay. Okay. So I don't even know what to do with that yet. I'm saying it in the old school way, I guess, because I'm old school. If you were able to imagine just infinite possibilities for yourself, loved ones, and just general humanity, what would that look like? What would that look like for you? As far as your mind, body, soul, career, the good of humanity, how you can contribute, as we're learning a lot in the Edgar Cayce stuff, talking about the self. I get the question all the time, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? Your purpose is to love. Hands down, that's the purpose of every human, is to love. Hands down. There is actually... but how that looks for everybody is different. So if I asked you to not limit yourself, because that's what we gotta throw away, right? All these limitations. Do not limit yourself. What would you want to create? What would you want to see? What would you want to experience, feel, and do? Start thinking about it. Just really start thinking about it. The reason I bring this up is because in 2023, and there's a lot that's going to happen in 2023, but remember, we keep talking about being in the eye of the storms. Being in the eye of the storms. And you can go back and watch many videos about discussing that. But we're also trying to talk about, hopefully by the end of 2023, as an individual, you will be able to kind of put your stake in the ground and say, this is who I am. I'm not budging. This is who I am. And this is what I know about myself. These are my gifts, talents, skills. These are my powers. This is who I am. Because in 2024, we're going to need more people that, quote unquote, are kind of stubborn about it, right? But stubborn in a nice way. Just that self-acceptance. That full self-acceptance. In 2023, and we touched upon this a little bit last week, it's going to be difficult, guys, because many are going to really hit the awakening process. I mean, very much hit the awakening. They're not going to know what to do. And ladies and gentlemen, you beautiful stars, you beings of love and light out there, when that happens, and it happened to many of us, and more are coming, it's difficult. It's a difficult process. And, you know, the betrayal that hits, and usually then the anger from that betrayal. And some either fight or flight or freeze. It's a very difficult process. That's going to be happening. And for us, who have already been starting this process for a long time, hopefully we have healed enough and we've let go of the betrayal aspect, because it doesn't serve you anymore. It doesn't serve anybody. We've let go of that hurt, because what does it do? It's not serving at all. At all. We let go of that, hopefully. And if not, hopefully in 2023 you're able to do that. Let go of the feelings around the betrayal, around the lies and the hurts and what have you. I do hope that for everyone. I really do. It's not helping. They're going to need us. They're going to need us, because that is the immediate first reaction. It is. And so it's understandable. For us who have been doing this for a while, well, we got to kind of help our brothers and sisters and love beings out there. We got to help them. We do. At the same time, because of this, 5D, which everybody can have their own opinions, 5D is really pulling and tugging on people. I mean, that magnetic pull is really happening. It is full on happening, because, you know, most people have been anchored in 3D for a very, very long time, and that 5D pull is pulling them. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit towards the end with time and our perception of things. That's why we do need to be more in an observer neutral state until we do have to put our stake in the ground, because out of self-acceptance. So bear with me. That 5D dimensional frequency consciousness is really pulling towards people. It's really grabbing hold, and it's going to even get more, right? It's because 5D is going to eventually, a lot of people are going to just anchor into that. Nobody's really anchored yet. I've been talking about that for a long time too. And so that back and forth thing of like the pull of 5D, you might have moments of actually just peace and serenity, moments of compassion for yourself and others, moments of being able to see that, yeah, the world could be different. All of that is a pull from 5D. And what's happening is that pull, that an energetic from the anchor of 3 and the pull into 5, that is the 4th dimension, people. That is the 4th. There is actually energy of the 4th. It's mostly mental. It's not tangible. You don't feel it, right? not until you're more hanging out in 5. That is the energy of 4. So everybody, a whole lot of people, I shouldn't say everybody, a whole lot of people, that's what 2023 is going to be. Welcome to 4D. Seriously. And it's a little bit of a bumpy road. And why does it get so bumpy? Is A, we go through so much personally. At the same time, 3 does not ever want to let go. 3 not at all wants to let go. And because it is that time, it just is that time, folks. It is that we all are moving towards higher consciousness, better frequency. 3 is going to try to latch on as much as it can to keep us in there, to keep us there. And how does 3 do that? 3 does it with, well, extremes to get the emotions going. Because oftentimes it's our emotions that lock us in. 3 is going to use judgment, competition, just outlandish extremes of stuff. So, socially, economically, all sorts of things. 3 is going to use that to hold us in 3. It's trying. It's actually working really damn hard. You know, it is. It's working really hard. Like, because so many of us are letting go. Because so many of us are going, yeah, okay, right? So it's working even harder with even more extremes. That polarity of things, that stuff that gets our blood boiling and our emotions high. Oh, it loves it. So it's working overtime. It really is working very hard. That I gotta give it props. I can laugh at this stuff because my emotions are not wrapped up in that stuff. It's not. Why? Because instead of the judgment that 3D loves people feeding into, judgment, 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 self-judgment, judgment of others, judgment of this, judgment of that. Everything's judgment. Everything in 3D is judgment. And then you sprinkle in a lot of fear. Damn, it's got its recipe, man. That is a soup that we have been like simmering in for a very long time. So I don't do the judgment thing so much anymore. Do I have moments in my at times? Yeah, I do, because I'm still present enough to be like, whoa, it's a Wild West. We are the Wild West, by the way. I've been saying this for a while. If anybody is across the pond that watches this, please leave a comment and let us know what others across the pond really think about America, because we are the Wild West, folks. Oh my goodness, we are. Oh my goodness. I love us. Don't get me wrong. I love us. I love being here in America. I love being an American. But it is wild. It is. I gotta laugh because it's like, wow. Wow. So I am curious. I do in my mind go, man, you ever wonder what just the average person across the pond, wherever you may be across the pond, you know, whatever country, I often wonder if they see this stuff and what they actually think. Like, oh my goodness. We put on a good show, let's say that. Now, because Hollywood has been crumbling, I guess the entire United States is now Hollywood. It's like, what? Oh my goodness. Anyways, you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh at things. That is going to be revving up even more so in 2023. It's going to be revving up the judgment, competition, us versus them, us versus them, it's going to be revving up. Because 3D is doing, I mean, it's doing its job. And the great thing about it is that so many more are going to be like, oh yeah, this soup sucks. We've been swimming in this soup for a long time. I'm going to, pull out of this and actually start moving towards 5. And my higher consciousness, my higher frequency self is, yeah, it's done. So that extreme stuff, because of the extreme awakening that's going to be taking place, both have to kind of be there. And that's the crappy part about it, is both kind of have to be there. If there wasn't this extreme out of 3 doing its job as best as it does, we wouldn't have this beautiful awakening happening. It wouldn't happen. So thank goodness that's happening, because then eventually, if enough change their consciousness and frequency, well then 3D does start to dissolve into itself. The Gnostics talk about that a lot. I wish I don't have that material in front of me. They talk about how matter, the nature of any matter, the nature of really any matter, that could be physical matter, that could be spiritual matter, that could be conscious matter, that could be matter, and however we want to use that term, right? The Gnostics do say the nature of any matter dissolves into itself. It dissolves back into itself. So negativity matter dissolves back into negativity. Positive will also dissolve back into it. Matter of what we're saying and doing currently will dissolve back into itself. And that's why we also get then, let's bring it to science, that you don't ever actually destroy energy, it just changes. This is transmutation. So a lot of the more that people are going to eventually get that very strong pull into 5 and lay down the ridiculousness of 3, right? The trap of that, it will start to dissolve into itself. That energy will change. Now, does it have the potential to then present new things that we don't know about, that are also not good and healthy for humanity? Yes, it does have that potential. But the potential really is that if more of us get our consciousness higher, our frequencies, well then that transmutation can then start changing what it does as well. It's a very complex, we can go into the science and blah, 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 but I'm not doing that right now. I don't know why I brought it up. Because the judgment, the competition, the us versus them is going to be it's going to be growing and growing and growing. All of 2023. All of 2023. It's our jobs, really, if you choose to take the mission on, right? If you choose to accept this choose your own adventure story, you can do whatever you want with it, right? If you choose to release the 3D stuff, it really is in compassion. It is in compassion for yourself and others. And it has to start with self. Compassion with self. When everybody first gets hit with all that betrayal, and a lot of people are still living through it. That's what I'm saying. It's got to be healed. It's because we tend to judge ourselves in that. It goes from, oh my gosh, I've been lied to my whole life. I hate them. I hate them. I hate the man. Damn the man. I hate him. Right? I can't believe this happened. The anger. And then for some reason there's this layer of, signs were there all the time. How did I not catch on? How did I not see that? It's not like I never saw the post before. It's not like somebody didn't tell me. Why didn't I catch on? Then it is self-judgment. So now we go from judging a whole bunch of stuff into then self-judgment. And then we kind of get stuck in the pursuit of taking things down, the us versus them aspect, right? When it gets to that whole self-judgment thing, I have barely ever seen somebody go to self-compassion, to give themselves self-compassion, and others. I don't see that too often. You only know what you know when you know it, until you know something different. And having that compassion, and it is because a lot of people have very grandiose ideas of themselves, but at the same time it's out of that betrayal and hurt. We have to use compassion nonstop. So 2023, which this really should have been starting to be practiced back in like 2017, 18, I mean, many more years past. But for those that are stepping into it now, 2023 will be a ton of opportunity to practice self-compassion, to practice compassion towards others. And the more that we do that, the more we see the disagreements, the more our emotions start getting all worked up, and we pause and we go, why am I getting worked up about this? And we can stop and have compassion for ourselves and others and rationally think through things. The more we can do that, the more opportunity we take out of all of the opportunities that will be presented, trust me, the better off we are. Because in that compassion is where we actually learn more about ourselves. Is where we start getting to more self-acceptance. And if we can accept ourselves, then we can accept all these other humans. We are all just nothing but mirrors to each other. Period. We're all our own little bubbles attached to other little bubbles. We are. I wonder if the card that we pulled last time is still on top. Oh, I'm going to just use that because I didn't pull a card. Maybe I'll get those out and do it at the end. The card that we had last time, which was still on top, which is great, was consciousness. The frequency of consciousness supports our ability to focus our attention on all the multidimensional aspects that show up so that we can include them in our reality. Now look at this. This is little bubbles touching other little bubbles, little spheres touching other little spheres, all sorts of spheres going out there. This is consciousness. This is society. This is human. This is the human experience. Right here. It's the human experience. So my little bubble, my little consciousness, my own little bubble, is attached to millions of other little bubbles. We're all just mirrors of each other. So in matter-of-fact way, when we're judging our fellow humans, we're really judging ourselves. There is no separation, ever. Ever. There is no separation. There is no actually us versus them. There is no such thing. Except 3D really likes to try to get us to believe that there is. It works so hard. I mean, really, it works really hard. And who wants to keep working hard? Just let 3D stop. 3D, you can retire at any time. I don't want to work that hard. Oh my goodness, but 3D likes us even working hard. It's so interesting what 3D does. It is a workaholic, let me tell you. It works way too hard. So all of 2023, extreme examples and opportunities to practice self-compassion and compassion for others in very extreme ways. That will lead to more self-acceptance. And that's what we need. That's that stake that we keep talking about at the end of 2023. This is my stake in the ground. I know who I am. I accept who I am. This is my power. This is what I want in life. This is where I'm going. The more that you practice that and you can work on through compassion, letting go judgment, letting go judgment, letting go judgment, and be more in a neutral observer stance, watching the world unfold and you unfold with it, being in the eye of the storm, being in the eye of the storm as an observer, not really judging anything, but just going, okay, I love myself and I love others. I have compassion. The more you can do that, the more you will be taking leaps and bounds into higher frequency consciousness. 5D, the energy there is very much compassion, but it's a steady flow of compassion. 5D also really helps you strip more, once you're hanging out in 5D more, the frequency of 5D more, it really does start helping you to strip away judgment. Strip it away and accept all people, places, and things for who and what they are. You can also then start seeing more of the all and experiencing the all and experiencing how everything fits and works and everything is a part of the all. Like 3D. I don't really judge 3D. I mean, I'm cracking jokes, guys. It just works really damn hard. Because I don't judge 3D even. I don't judge the people, places, or things in 3D. Because it's just doing its job. It's just doing its job. Like, same as I'm doing mine. Same as everybody's doing theirs. It's going to start moving, though. I do want to put that in here. As you're practicing this, and you're using all of the opportunities that 2023 is going to present, to have compassion towards yourself and others. And through that compassion, you're learning to trust yourself and a higher power and others. Through that, you're also gaining more self-acceptance. You might start experiencing, especially for some, more summer, definitely into the fall, that pull vastly more, which will lead to what people refer to as time slips. It'll lead to what people talk about time jumping, but I don't know if they actually understand the meaning of that. It'll lead to more out-of-body, quote-unquote, experiences. It can lead to, I was talking with somebody yesterday, we all, it starts off slow. Time slips are kind of like, it could be either or. It could feel like, oh, this drive to my house or whatever from this destination will always take usually around 20 minutes. And all of a sudden, You did look at the clock in the car, it said this, and then you're home in like 5 minutes. But your brain's going to trick you and be like, no way. You didn't do that in 5 minutes, right? You didn't rate it correctly. Or vice versa. That 20-minute trip just took like 48 minutes? What? And there was no accidents, that kind of thing. It'll start tricking the mind. You'll go in and out of, it could be extremes as well. Extremes of, oh my goodness, this is pure peace. Like, I am good today. And without doing any chemical extensions of yourself. You know, I'm in such peace and harmony within, and man, it's great. And then literally the next day, rage could be there, right, within. It could also be that you start seeing things differently when you are trying to be more in the observer mode and you're practicing compassion versus judgment. It could be that you start seeing even the landscapes around you differently, from being able to more see even the matrix, being able to see more vibrant colors of things, especially nature, right? All of a sudden, this is like where they talk about Mandela stuff. That gas station that you have stopped at for the past 12 years is now on the other side of the street, right? That kind of stuff. And many in this audience, at least, have already started experiencing things like that. That's going to start happening for a lot of people on a grand scale. On a grand scale. We, those that have been doing it for a long time, need to help others. This is, if you are looking for how can I be of service to others, bingo, right here, at least for that. Because we all know that have been dealing with it and working with it, working against it, or working with it, not against it. We all know that it's freaky. It can make you start going a bit nuts. You know, did that really just happen? I will tell you, you know, I've been doing that for many years now, but another kind of layer of that started for me this previous year and a half or so, that my brain now is holding different memories of things, as if my timeline would be splitting, but it's not. It's literally Courtney of 3D and Courtney of 5D happening simultaneously. I used this example yesterday when I was talking to somebody, so I'm going to use it here as well. And I'm giving you guys all this examples because 2023 is going to be rocketed into judgment big time, us versus them. At the same time, a lot of great, what they call ascension symptoms and greatness is also happening. I mean, it's going to be the two. We are in like the last few stages. I will say we got a few more years, guys. I've been saying it for a long time. The true, really flip of things, and we're going to be going through a lot, but we can sustain and be more present in 5D, especially now if we choose to. So we're not attached to anything crazy. It's still going to be, you know, pretty wild through 2020 into 2026. I mean, we got to get even through the first like 3 or 4 months of 2026 before we all go, whoa, okay, we can breathe, right? We can breathe. So it's going to be the extremes. Extreme 3D and extreme 5D for people. So, so I'm trying to give people the mind-body experiences that can happen. So we don't feel Like we're losing our minds. Because you're not losing your mind. You're losing 3D. Welcome to freedom. Right? Welcome to freedom. Consciousness free is fused with the cosmic. Welcome to freedom. It's just going to feel like you're going nuts. So what started with me, like maybe, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years, a year, whatever. I don't know. Time and me are very not, I had to start letting go of time, and that was actually extremely difficult for me. But I was being very much forced into it by like 2018. I was being extremely forced into letting go of time, which was very hard on me. So as far as how long have I been experiencing stuff, I couldn't tell you. But now I can have 2 separate experiences and 2 separate memories attached to it. I will give this example because it's one of the easiest ones I can explain. So I'm at the grocery store. That week we did not have that much money for groceries. And they were running a bunch of sales on chicken, which was like, whoa, cool. But a bunch of different kind of chicken, okay? And so I'm going through looking at the cheapest, what can I get the most for my money, right? And they had chicken wings packed up big time, and on chicken breasts, chicken this, chicken thighs, all sorts of stuff. Guys, and I know this is a weird story, but just follow along. There is a point at the end of this. I've never once bought chicken wings in my entire life. Never once bought them. Because for me personally, it's a waste of money. There's not enough meat on there for me to spend money like that. It's not my jam. I don't even really know how to cook them because I've never bought them. Because I think it's a waste of money. I'd rather find something that I can use many times over, right? That's just how I was raised. It is what it is. This is fine. Whatever. So, here's the story though. So I'm going through all this different chicken, trying to find the best for my buck. Knowing I would not even look at the chicken wings. Because it's not the best for my buck, in my opinion. Well then, I go, I check out, I grab what I need, I check out. I'm driving home and I was actually really excited. I'm like, oh my God, I got some meat in the house and I only spent X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. Like I was actually really excited of how well I budgeted that day. Well, then when I get home, I started unloading the groceries and there's this big old thing of chicken wings. And I paused. And knowing I had never bought them in my life, I would never actually buy them in life. I'm not opposed to eating them. If somebody else wants to buy them and cook them, not opposed. I knew the Courtney that I had always been my whole life, which I've been cooking since I was 8 years old for the family, has never done that. And I was buying the groceries by the time I was 16. If I need to help out, I helped out. Never did that. Never in my life. Okay? I get home and I'm like, what the hell are these chicken wings doing here? Automatically, in my human brain, it was, oh, the cashier somehow messed me up. Oh, who was before me in line? Who was behind me in line? Blah, blah, blah. Like, why do I not have the chicken breast that I was going to use for a stew the next day? Why do I not have that? I actually went back to the store, pissed, because I'm in my human self, not understanding how this happened. But by the time I got back to the store to return these chicken breasts, hoping I could return them because I don't even know what to do with these things, I started trying to trace in my mind what happened. Like, how is the Courtney that's always been accidentally grab? And guys, it wasn't just like a small thing of chicken. It was heavy. It was like a big quantity. Like if you were feeding a big, large number of people, I totally get it. I totally get it. Makes it easy. Here you go, some chicken wings. There's only 2 people in my household. It was a very heavy thing of meat. In my mind, as I'm driving and calming down so I don't look like a crazy person, I'm trying to remember how that happened. Can't figure it out. I'm able to actually return them, thank goodness. And on my drive home, I realized I was actually remembering 2 separate different memories of the same act. The same act of checking out in that grocery store. That's the act. Both Courtneys did that. But there were actually 2 separate memories of me very much willing to buy chicken wings and put them on the conveyor belt as I'm checking out. And then there's a Courtney that actually bought chicken breasts. I was so confused that I was remembering 2 separate things in one act. One act that took place, but vastly different for who I had always been. And I understand, this is somewhat low key. Chicken wings is not changing my life, right? That sort of thing, though, can and will start happening. It is because and I'm explaining the reason why right now. 3D Courtney was very scared about financial stuff that week. 3D Courtney was coming up with, well, I guess if I cook these and then I shred up the meat, I could probably make that meat into a bunch of different ways. Is this actually more economically sound and I'm just not aware of it? Because 3D Courtney was worried about money. So she bought chicken wings. When 5D Courtney was thinking of, I'm sure the money will show up. I'm going to buy these chicken breasts and just cook the way I know how to cook. 2 completely separate kind of conscious streams. Streams of consciousness. One that's not going to worry about the money because she understands reciprocity, she understands rhythm, she understands energy and manifesting. And a 3D Courtney who, guys, it can get really rough. Down to $1, not even. Do you understand? 2 completely separate Courtneys doing the same act. It can get very confusing, and I still have multiple different memories in my brain, in my consciousness, of things that are exactly of that nature. 3D Courtney, scared, worried, making decisions. And 5D Courtney, understanding energy and consciousness and frequency and 5D compassion. I have memories of being in full judgment and then being in full compassion, doing the exact same act. Very odd. Simultaneously. So, that can start happening. When that does, and you're rolling back in your mind going, how the hell do I have 2 memories? Can you please just present the right one to me? Can you just please present the right one? Because I don't know what happened now. Either the material, whatever that material may be, like the chicken wings, it showed me exactly which Courtney kind of was making the shots, was operating more so. Opposed to if I had chicken breasts, I'd be like, oh, thank goodness 5D Courtney understands that money will show up. The reason I'm saying this is because it will still and always remain to be. Are we in fear, 3D, or are we in love, Love is that knowledge of, I know how energy works. I'm going to put food on the table responsibly, but I'm going to buy what I know what to do with responsibly. Love. My husband also would not eat chicken wings. He would rather, you know, eat something else. It would not have fed him enough. Responsibly. So are we in fear? I bought something that I have never cooked because it was at a lower price and I was terrified about the money that week. Opposed to, I'm going to buy the chicken breast. When that stuff happens, and I know this is a very odd story, but everyone can relate to that. Everybody's had really crappy weeks financially that we go, okay, what do we put on the table this week? Everyone can relate to that. It doesn't matter if you do have a lot of money or not, because even those with a lot of money like to hold on to their money, so then they pinch their pennies, right? It doesn't matter. Anybody can relate to the story. That's why I use it. Not all of them are so relatable. So it comes down to that. Then that becomes two separate memories to demonstrate the two different worlds you can choose to live in. Because it is a choice. Are you in fear or are you in love? In 2023, between us versus them, judgments galore, all sorts of chaos, it's giving you opportunities. Am I in fear? Because judgment is nothing but fear. Judgment is nothing but fear. It is the root of judgment is fear. It is nothing but fear. It's am I in judgment? Am I in fear? Or I'm in love and compassion? These are fellow humans. These are fellow humans. And we only know what we know until we know something different. And those here listening at Stars of the Morning Light, hopefully you know a bit different by now. So, I'm going to end with this. And guys, I keep myself transparent. I share with you. I literally just shared the whole story about chicken. Chicken bok bok. Recently, so we all know that I do go to the Akashic. I can get I can match my frequency with the Akashic. And I've said on my program a bunch of times that of what it looks like for me, what I experience, that the Akashic will present itself to individuals the way that's most comfortable for them to receive. Mine was, yes, like a library. Yes, I got books of people's stories. Also very much presented for who Courtney was to receive it, right? I will tell you, and I've never shared this before, I also, I need to contact Frankie Fearless out there, my brother out in New York, I believe. Frankie, I do still need to contact you, man. Because that pink Milky Way thing that you saw, brother, I saw it a long time ago because of the Akashic, and let me continue. So, I always was presented with that. Like a library, these beings I get to talk to, actual books, what have you. And it wasn't that my sight was off. That was what was relatable for me. But I also want you guys to all know this beautiful pink Milky Way aspect looking thing that was also always somewhat present for me to see. And I was inside of it a few times, but I didn't really, it was more just, hey, we want to present this to you. I didn't know then that that's actually what the Akashic really is. Because the Akashic, beautiful stars, It is the waters of infinite potentiality. It is all potentiality. It is that 0 point of creation. It is where your individual choice resides, where humanity's choice, creation, form out of the formless resides. It's where all of it does. And so even though I had always seen that, I just did my job. I did what I needed to do at the time. I will tell you, as I have gone through this with many of you here, that's why I go through things so others can witness that you're not alone, you're not crazy, and, you know, stars of the morning light will definitely welcome you. I usually, in my life, yay, I accept it, it's fun, I make jokes. You gotta laugh. I usually go through processes that other beings, will be going through anywhere from 4 to 9 months, maybe a year, before other people do. It's been that way since the get-go. And I've also expressed here that I was struggling since like last August with, I would say, identity and self-acceptance stuff, as far as my voice, as far as me trying to strategize how to best deliver messages to people. I kind of had it in my head that maybe if I was more gentle with things, not be the Courtney that I am, that grew up in Waukegan, Illinois. Hello, anybody know that area? If I was someone different than who I am, would it be received better, right? I was struggling with that. Struggling with some other self issues, you know? I kept a lot of who I am and my business very separate, you know? I've kept a lot of things separate. Just a lot. And mostly because I didn't know how to serve the best. I didn't know how to serve in my own right. Which is going to be on the hearts and minds of a lot of people moving forward. And then, as we all know, I lost my voice in February. Which, my voice is what I always used. My voice has always been my particular gift. When I was in college studying writing, it was mostly develop your voice in your writing. I will also tell you, I used to be a blues singer while I was in college. My voice. Then I went into teaching. My voice. I'm here now. My voice. In all shapes and forms. So it was really based around that. Well, when I lost my voice and took that week of silence in February, I knew it was because, well, the divine pretty much said, hey, you need to make a decision. You need to figure this out because you've been on the fence with a bunch of stuff since August. Make a choice, Courtney. And we're willing to work with you and present to you what we feel and think, but it's still your human free will choice. Well, so I did a lot of stuff in my week of silence. A lot of stuff. And I haven't shared all of it. But the outcome of all that I experienced, the outcome of all that happened, the outcome of losing my voice like that, led to the outcome of full self-acceptance. I am who I am. I am who I am. I am stake in the ground. I am who I am. And the more that we do that as individuals, I am, I am. I am. The more that we do that, and we become very sincere with ourselves, very sincere with other people, this is my stake, this is it, this is who I am. The more we do that, and then more people do that, more people do that, more people do that, well, then we become the great I am. We do become the society of the new earth, the peoples of the new earth. Not the easiest process. I mean, mine was very much related to my voice, like I said. In college, it was my writing voice. I also was a blues singer. I also, by the time I was 20, was teaching meditation. My voice. It was always to do with my voice and how I delivered my voice. And then I'm on the fence since last August. I will have to tell you, once I went through what I did when they said, oh, you're taking too long to make this decision, we're going to cut your voice out. And the outcome of that is me fully accepting who I am. This is who I am. It's how I'm going to talk. It's how I'm going to do. It's how I'm going to write. It's how I'm going to be me. You can take it or leave it, because I am who I am. The moment I did that, all of a sudden, a writer's block that had been there for a very long time, all of a sudden opened. I'm writing again. I'm communicating some of the best stuff that I've been in a long time, especially I think with Edgar Cayce stuff. The Akashic. This is why I started with how the Akashic always appeared itself to me. The Akashic now, for me, is no longer I see people's books. No longer I have to do all these very respectful steps that I had to kind of do before. No longer am I seeing a whole bunch of stuff that I needed. A library, per se, right? I am just now in the middle of that pink Milky Way. I am just in the center of 0 point creation, looking at all the infinite possibilities. Because it took my self-acceptance. Once I did that, the divine, the higher consciousnesses, the higher frequency went, right on, Courtney. Welcome to who you are. Welcome to who you are. We're happy you accepted yourself. Because this is who you are. So self-acceptance is, on a grand scale, mighty important. You can't really do what you want to do, what your soul's job is, the purpose that everybody asks me about all the time. You're not going to be able to get there without accepting who you are. This is why people do shadow work. But the layers to that. So full acceptance. You don't have to be someone other than who you are. So, and in the same right, that goes for everyone. We are mirrors. They don't need to be anything that they're not in any given time. We are all mirrors. So I'm telling you this, not for ribbons and bows and a cookie, job well done, Courtney, you accepted yourself, which, hey, I'll take it. I love it. I am full acceptance. I will tell you guys, I started mid last summer. When I do my I am statements with my hand to my heart, I did start saying, I am full acceptance. I am full acceptance. Because I knew it's what I needed to work on. I knew it's what I needed. Full acceptance of all of the beautiful humans out there, of myself, of situations, to release the judgment of 3D because it's ridiculousness. It's just working really well. You know? Actually, ridiculousness is a judgment. It's just working really well. It's doing its job. I had to work on releasing that. Am I fully there? No, because of the harm that it causes. But am I more there than most? Yeah. And now I will be able to definitely get there because we're mirrors of ourselves. So self-acceptance, that energy, then vibrates out to others, right? Vibrates out to others. And the more that they get to do that, the more we self-accept ourselves, we have self-acceptance, the more we can accept others as to where they are, the more that 3D's job starts declining and dissolving into itself. So, this has been a very long message, but I wanted to just very much have a lot of transparency with you guys as to there's going to be personal shifts in people's lives, emotionally, mentally, and physically throughout 2023. Lots of what they call ascension symptoms. Lots of opportunities for you to practice self-compassion and compassion to others. And with that is the trust and the self-acceptance to finally, we can all just put our stake in the ground and say, this is who I am. I am. And I want to end with this. All of the great ascended masters, use that word. The scene actually spoke a lot about the I am, and is not always attached to the God of the Torah, of the Hebrew texts. The statement I am is profound because you are creation. You are the breath of life. You are manifesting and demonstrating every day in and out. So when we use I am, we need to pay attention to the words that we're backing it up with. We really do. I've talked about it a million times. And I change it for what I know I need. I am full acceptance. I am peace and harmony. I am love. I am such and such, right? Please start doing it. It helps. It works. I'm going to read the card one more time. Actually, let's pull a new card just to say goodbye. To say have a good week, folks. So if you could imagine anything that is good for you, yours, and humanity. Ooh. This card, I guess, wanted to come out. What would it be? What would it be? And here we go, guys. The card that really jumped out as I'm asking that is number 31, magic. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move toward possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestations. I'm going to hold that up. Magic. More spheres, more bubbles, all attached. Magic. With self-acceptance also comes the belief in oneself. That's really what it boils down to. It's been kind of troubling to hear so many people question so much about belief. And it's always about beliefs outside of themselves. When the real issue, as in my humble opinion, most ancient texts are actually talking about, as I said, the Ascended Masters all use the term I am. it's very heartening to me, very troubling to my heart that so many people are still trying to argue and debate and communicate beliefs outside of themselves when the real problem is they don't believe in themselves. That's the true problem. Because that's where the true magic lies. That's where the true power lies. And so many people want to go to Hermes, and this is why I need to go back to it. Because for me, Hermes is very basic. And it's still, people are not catching on. With it, as above, so below, as within, so around. It's all the same. So it's really the belief in oneself. And that's why we're going to move towards self-acceptance. Once again, number 31, magic. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move toward possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. What would you want for you and yours and humanity? What can you imagine? That is all that is required to create that with some magic. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation. Belief is magic. Period. This is why it's very sad to know that the Christ consciousness kept saying, geez, you don't even have faith as big as a mustard seed. You don't even believe that much. And that's where people are at. And it wasn't faith in him. It wasn't faith in the Father. It was faith in self. You want to walk on water? Walk on water. You better believe you can first. There we see it again. So, I love you all. Have a good weekend. Yes. Wish me luck. I'm sure I'll do great. I know people that hate saying that because it's like, well, then don't you believe in yourself? I love positive energy. You can send me luck. You can send me good vibes. Oh, I love it. I love wishes. I actually have a wish tree. I love it because that is positive thoughts and imagination manifesting. Woo! I love it. So, I will see you all later. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. I will be back next Friday. Of course, also Wednesday now at 2 o'clock, I'm doing the Edgar Casey Life Skills study. I believe it's going pretty well. So I appreciate you all. If you like what you hear, hit that like button. Ring my bell. Leave a comment. Do something to let me know. I don't care what you do to let me know. Just do something to let me know. Oh, I appreciate you all so much. Oh, have a great day. Remember, do laugh, guys. We gotta laugh. We gotta laugh. Oh my goodness. Gotta laugh. All right. Later. Adios.